And we're back. What's up, everybody? Benja Welldone coming at you live on this beautiful Corona-free day. Today is Saturday, May the 15th at 10:32 in the morning. How are you doing? So here's the thing. When should you be strategizing? Short answer, always. Immediate answer, right now. Between right now and always, that's when you should be strategizing. And what for what specifically? Everything. Between your financial investments, your technique of fighting, your relationships and stuff like that. You see, I feel like there is some truth behind the idea that strategy is a way to, of course, not just beat your opponent, but it could be just to win your obstacle. Okay? And it could be anything. It could be in the form of learning a skill or beating your opponent, or, I mean, like I said, it literally could be absolutely everything. You apply a formula or problem to the equation, and strategy is always the best answer. That's the reason why I love chess, and not just that, also jiu-jitsu, and most importantly, comedy. You see, there's a certain scientific method when you're strategizing and you're using it for anything in life. Problem solving, overcoming problems. And once you do that, you start to develop your own methods of success. Now, take financial investments, for example. This is just an example, but it applies universe-wide, okay? If you missed out on a great opportunity, again, just to keep it simple, we'll call it money, a financial investment. The best opportunity provided by, it's still on an uptrend. It's still going up in money, kind of like Nike or Google or Facebook. It's kind of too late to really capitalize on making that sweet money that everybody else did, right? Well, back when it came out or whatever. But if you know it's far from its peak, okay? And everybody knows Twitter, Facebook, Google, it's pretty much peaked, all right? It's not gonna get that much bigger. Everyone already knows what Facebook, Google, and Twitter and all this is. But the best opportunity would have been at the earliest point of that opportunity. The next best opportunity, right now. Right now is the best opportunity. Okay? Again, provided by the circumstances are right and it's still going up in that pattern. Apply it towards fixing a relationship. If you had a conversation that you wanted to bring up with someone, it could be someone romantic or someone that you are not romantic with, just a friend. Okay? And there was a moment that happened in a conversation that you could have brought something up to actually, not directly, but because it was already in the air, so to speak, get into a topic that was kind of not that easy to get into because of certain sensitivity or something like that. That's opportunity one. That window closes, now you have to do the direct approach. The reason why I'm saying this is because I was talking to somebody the other day as far as strategy goes, and they were telling me it's too late. And I completely negated with what they were saying because the room for growth, if you already know that there's room to grow, there's room to correct, there's room to fix, okay? And I believe that basic strategic philosophy of best time is early, next best time now, okay? But when you should always be looking for these strategically is always. It is important. It is necessary. It is mandatory. There's no way of getting around it. That the best opportunity to do something is this very moment. Which brings me to my next topic, which I will talk about next week, which is pressure and actions. There's a weird thing that happens when the essence of in a sense, I don't want to say losing time, but in a nutshell, losing time. In that essence, you sort of like, in other words, you procrastinate until the very last minute. There's something very weird that happens when you feel pressured by the constraint of time, okay? Or not pressured, but you just know that it's enclosing on you up into when XYZ, you name it, is actually due, and it's supposed to be done or something like that. It could be a project or taking out the trash or mowing the yard before it starts to rain. And there's this weird energy that happens right, I'm might as well get into it. I'm getting it already. As that opportunity, that window of opportunity is getting close and you're closed, that's when people feel the most motivated. Now, it's a strange thing, but psychologically, it happens to everyone, okay? The only difference is if you know the trick, that's how you're gonna feel, okay? My opinion, the easiest way to feel that, even when it's well ahead of you, is make some sort of a dedicated, make an earlier deadline for yourself. So in the military, for example, they call it a soft time and a hard time. The soft time, and this is so you aren't ever late, but this also extremely helps with procrastination. And if a project is so big, break it up into sections. So every single day, whether it's your workout routine or a project or something it'll take several weeks, months, maybe even years, you have an incremental goal that you've broken down systematically and purposely for that exact reason. So you know you're not getting behind. And if you even get behind a little because you're working so much and you just didn't get everything finished in one day, that you know you have to work in overdrive tomorrow to make your goal. When you break up an entire staircase into steps, you make it go from a big task that you actually could potentially maybe spend hours, minutes, whatever, however long, daunting and thinking about how long it'll take to do that task, not being productive, to incremental steps. And say, if I just make that first step, if I can just make that first step, that's all I gotta do. And once that goal is checked, before it's finished, make sure you have other goals behind it. Once you get this first step, try to finish the second step. But my whole goal for the first day is just that first step of this 10-step project or whatever, okay? But if you realistically know that it'll take 2 days to do that first step, like I said, break down as much work as possible you can maybe get in that day. So you're essentially always creating deadlines for yourself, always adding pressure to yourself. And by you doing that, as I was saying, in the military, they have a soft time and a hard time, which essentially means if you're supposed to be somewhere at 6:30 in the morning, so for example, your early morning physical training hard time, when you're supposed to be there, like when we start, is 6:30 in the morning. The soft time is 6:15, which means that's when you're in formation. Okay? But what they say is, be there 15 prior, which means 15 minutes prior to the hard time, which is 6:15, which is your soft time. And then they follow it up by saying, to the 16-minute prior. So they essentially say it twice. So number one, be 15 minutes prior to the hard time and 15 minutes prior to that soft time. So essentially you're saying you're 30 minutes late, but you're not. You're adding pressure and you're creating a 15-minute deadline before the soft time, before 6:15. So you're trying to arrive there at 6 o'clock. Now, if you're not there, that's fine, because even if you're a few minutes late, it doesn't matter, because you're not late. You're still there before 6:15. So essentially, by creating these expectations and time constraints, you're forcing your drive as far as it completely eradicates, takes away the illusion of time that you have so much of it, and it constrains it, and it shows you how you don't have time. Because in all reality, you essentially don't. Now, which actually brings me to another small saying that they actually have in the military, which is early is on time and on time is late, which pretty much means if you really want to be on time, be early. Because if you're there at 6:30, people are walking in at the 6:30 morning formation. That pretty much is the equivalent of translating to, like, if you were about to start a college test, it starts at 10 a.m. and you walk in at 9:59, everyone's going to be staring at you. It's distracting. It's not right. It's impolite. It's rude. Don't do it. All right? So, yeah, essentially, if you can follow those two essences of reality, it's like a psychological, not a trick, but it's a truth, a psychological truth to helping you not just be better in every possible way, in my opinion, okay, but to get yourself into more forceful actions quicker, on a more immediate, faster paced kind of a way. Because those that when you remove the obstacle of wasting time and you go straight to the deadline, even though you're beginning your project with that essence inside you, psychologically, you're already starting on the back nine. You're already starting at the end. So you start busting your ass immediately. And even if you're late, you're not late, because early is on time and on time is late. So if you remember anything from this at all, just remember this: I want you to be strategizing. Always. That's the best right there. And when is the best time? Right now. The next best time? Okay? Still right now. All right? So between knowing when you should be strategizing your movements, which is always, and if you miss that first opportunity, okay, to do it right now, you can still catch up. That's like a two-part number one. And number two is the psychology of time constraints, which is when to do it. Once you've made your plan, when to act on it, right now. And if you miss that opportunity, okay, because you should always be acting on it, you do it the first moment that you can. And you do that by creating deadlines and breaking up your goal into different tasks according to how long it'll take. I know I'm sound like I'm coming out of left field, but I'm really not. This is really, really important stuff. This is why I was going to break it up into 2 videos, but I'm not, because I already started getting into it, so hell, why not? I may still do a second video just having to do with time constraints. More than likely. But I think all of this is really important because, like I said, this whole video is to essentially understand my logic, my train of thought, and how I think. This way, when you see me off stage, okay, from doing comedy, you'll understand more also the psychology of not just how I think, but how and why I deliver my lines and my information and my beliefs and my thoughts that I do. Why I express myself the way that I do, because I believe not just in what I say. To me, it's fact. It's not like a belief, it's a fact. Like math. Math is undeniable, and so is what I'm saying, to me. And I truly believe that the only way I can accomplish anything is, first off, by strategically always trying to get ahead of my goal, of my enemy, of my opponent, of my challenger, my problem. It doesn't matter. Okay? And then if I miss that opportunity, hypothetically, I get in the very next best opportunity. Once I noticed it, like, oops, it's been missed, so I'm going to do it right now. So you essentially have 2 core actions. The first is the strategic action of planning. When to do it, now, always. The second is when to follow through. Again, always, followed by now. When you strategize, always. Next best time, now. When you follow that plan that you've strategized on, always. The second you got it ready, do it. And if you don't, do the next best moment, which is right now. I love you guys so much. I appreciate your support. I really wish so people would look on YouTube, they could actually see how many listeners I have compared to viewers, because of busy day, busy age, busy world, etc. You know, but there's a lot more out there that are listening, and maybe, just maybe, something that I said made a difference. And if I did, I'm glad I could help you out. And if anything, at the very least, this is for me too. By me saying something, kind of like if you teach something, okay, you point out stuff and it makes you a better student. Well, that's what I'm doing to myself. I'm actually not just reminding, but instilling once more my practices of my strategy philosophically and my plan of action philosophically, which I follow. So that being mentioned, I hope this is educational, maybe a little militaristic, for lack of a better term. A little militarized, you know, hitting with bullet points. But that's just who I am. I'm very aggressive naturally, but I don't come across that way, depending on what we're talking about. I don't necessarily let people know what I think, but I am someone of actions, and I make shit happen. Because, as I said in the last video, if you know what I think, what I'm thinking, okay, then essentially, I mean, like the detail of my strategy, the detail of my plan, not the formula itself, then I'm going to have to re-strategize, because you're already going to know what I'm going to do. And by me to come out ahead and be number one, I got to do better than you. So I'm not going to reveal my plan. But that is the formula, and that is the method. And it's a scientific method. It's used throughout. But sometimes by bringing something that's so simple and obvious to the light, it helps not just reflect, it helps you think, and you can use it for parallel circumstances and examples, but it helps instill it once more, which is what I'm doing now. So with that being mentioned, I hope everybody has a beautiful day. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Benja Welldone. As always, check me out. Peace.